Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You're watching AMS Live. It is Saturday, July 8th, 2023. My name is Boy. I am standing at the Polderbaan again. I intended originally to go to Kaagbaan, but they have changed the runway usage. So yesterday and the day before yesterday, Polderbaan was used for arrivals. Now it is a runway used for departures. So that meant either going to a different runway but get the same traffic, same type of traffic, namely inbound for a third consecutive day, or go to the other side of the same runway I have been streaming from the previous days and do different type of traffic. I preferred the latter, so still at the Polderbaan, but at the beginning. Wind is blowing from the east, so landings take place on Kaagbaan 06 and on Alsmeerbaan 36 right. Today the Polderbaan is used as 36 left, primary runway for departures, although when the traffic offering gets bigger, 36 center is also expected to be used for departures later in the morning. Right now, this is the only runway used for departures. We can already see the first airplanes arrive. In the meantime, I see a lot of people already in the chat. Good morning, Mid-KS. Goedemorgen, Marissa, Koenie, Marius, if you're still there. Goedemorgen. And enjoy the baseball match with your children. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen. Alles lekker. Remco, goedemorgen. Vanuit het ook al zonnige Arnhem. Studio Jaja, good morning. Hey Niels, goedemorgen, good morning. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, good morning to you too. So, the current weather, it is already 21 degrees Celsius, so we are already in the 70s Fahrenheit. Wind is blowing from 090 degrees with 7 knots, so from the east. So there's a little bit of crosswind from the right for the airplanes taking off, but I will show you later. The wind is negligible at the moment. Airplanes coming up. Time for me to rise and go to my camera. First up will probably be a Lufthansa A320 that will be going to Frankfurt. Unless a KLM 737 will skip the line. It is moving left of the camera, but I think this is probably going to be the first airplane to take off. Yeah, it is already spooling up. Lufthansa flight 987 going to Frankfurt. 9-year-old airplane. Now today promises to become a tropical day. Temperatures are already above 20 degrees Celsius and the day's highs are going to lie above 30 degrees Celsius, so in the 90s Fahrenheit. This is a Boeing 737-900 going to Brussels from KLM. I find it interesting, fascinating. So not only do they send an airplane to Brussels, which is relatively close by, but it's even the biggest of the 737s and 900 that they are sending off. Wonder how filled it is. Anyway, a 21-year-old airplane began its flying career in September 2001. As you guys can see, not a cloud in the sky. The sun is baking already. The moon is even out. Can I show you guys? It should be... Well, reflections are playing a little... are interfering a little bit, but the moon is also visible. Alright, next up, Boeing 737-800 going to Venezia. KLM flight 1651. A 24-year-old 737 that began flying in the year 1999 in January. So initially I thought I was going to run a little late this morning with arriving on the scene. I realized that I forgot to check my oil in a while and it was almost empty. So before going out on a very warm day and running into car trouble on the way back, I had to stop by a shop first to get me a few pints of oil. But all in all, that didn't take as long as I thought it would take, so still nicely in time with the live stream this morning. We're waiting for more traffic to come this way. Looks like United 777-200 to Newark will be coming. Well, will it be coming first? There's also an Embraer 175 to Norwich on its way. Already on this side of the runway, so well, we'll see. Many more people already tuning in the live chat. Goedemorgen Pieter, 68-2, good morning. Listening to thunder in Yorkshire. Oh, that's interesting, but you'd rather have some sunshine probably. Although it can be refreshing, a nice shower after it's been warm. YouTube fan, good morning my friend, good to see you again. Ooh, hey, oh. Look at what just dove under. And re-emerged over here. Mr. or Mrs. Grebe. Seems to be on his or her own. Oh yeah, little flexing, little peacocking, showing the viewers how nice. Hey, okay, so they did open 36 center already. Now I have to go back to manual focus and go to infinity, makes it easier. Okay, so, well, have to update the ticker then. The Embraer to Norwich and the triple to Newark are still underway over here. The triple has just crossed runway 36 center, so I'm not sure if it is permanently open already or if this was just an incidental departure. Normally when the runway is active, they have to cross or they have to go around it instead of being allowed to cross it. So makes me wonder if 36 center has really officially opened or if this was just a one-off departure. We'll find out soon enough. Ralf, goedemorgen, good morning. Gosse, goedemorgen kerel. Hans-Joachim, guten Morgen. Wie geht's? Wie ist das Wetter da? Und wie ist die Temperatur schon? WD Computer, goedemorgen. Lekker weer, zeker. And streaming early in the day, before it gets really excruciatingly hot. There is a little bit of wind, but there is less wind than there was yesterday. So I'm hoping it is still bearable come end of the morning. Erik, goedemorgen, good morning. Bert, goedemorgen, good morning. Viele Zuschauer aus Deutschland schon. Herzlich willkommen, liebe deutsch sprechende Zuschauer. Schön, dass ihr auch wieder dabei seid. Peter, goedemorgen. Not sure if I already said good morning to you. The chat is going quickly. Daniel, good morning. René, good morning. Jort, goedemorgen, good morning. Paul, goedemorgen. Hope everybody is doing well. So there's the 777-200 to Newark from United. Let me have a look on flight radar. I can see that more traffic is coming, but they all seem to be going around the runway, the center runway. Anyway, Embraer 175 going to Norwich has in the meantime arrived and taking off. KLM 1515. And this is a 5-year-old airplane. Began flying in January 2018. Haven't seen the firefighters yet, so I am hoping, as we didn't see them yesterday, I'm hoping that we might still catch them today. There does seem to be some activity going on over there, or at least one truck has already driven out of the station. You can see the windsock in the foreground, or relative foreground. What wind there is coming from the east. 7 knots according to the latest weather report. Now you can see windmills are turning somewhat, but that happens quickly. The smoke not really leaving the chimney horizontally, but it is moving a little bit. It's a slight breeze if you look in the water. Well, if you look to the reflection, quite well visible. The United Triple has just taken the left-hand turn to taxi the final bits to the runway threshold, so it will be taking off in a minute or so. Further upstream, well, something moving there. Not sure what it is, can't see from over here. Still quiet, still early. Already some people at the main Spottersplatz, the parking place. You can see people in the center of the field of view moving back and forth. That's the gate where they can stand and watch the air traffic. And this is looking at the parking place that is, well, basically comprising the official Spottersplatz. Don't see the French fry or ice cream trucks yet. Those black, yellow and white red thingies comprise the main entrance, and a few red Dixies in the foreground. That's in the nearby corner for people who need to use the bathroom. Has that authentic Dixie smell. Not really a place you want to hang out for longer than is strictly necessary. Now in the meantime, CJ, good morning. Ricardo, goedemorgen. Vanuit Wateringen. Alan Monk, Lane, Jono, good morning. Mol, goedemorgen, good morning. So this is United Flight 71, 777-200, going to Newark. It is a 777-200ER, 23 years old. First flight of this airplane was in July of the year 2000. Hey there, good morning, Quick Hero and Dale, good morning. Dale asks, do you get to use those red and white striped things closer to you? You mean these as a Dixie to pee against? Oh, it is a smoky triple, isn't it? Look at that. You can definitely tell that those are not the newest of engines. It's almost like an old 707 or 747 200 or something is taking off, or MD-11. Greenpeace is not going to be happy with that airplane. Well, if you are desperate and those Dixies are far away off, it could be an option, although you do need to swim across the canal first or pontoon it. If I'm not mistaken, this is KLM flight 1059, an Embraer 190. Well, that seems to be correct looking at the winglets. It should be going to Cardiff. 9-year-old airplane, first flight January 2014. A couple of airplanes have lined up in the meantime. All KLM. 2 737-800s will be following this airplane. So that means I will have to update the ticker because the runway usage stated is no longer current. We'll do that after all the departures currently waiting have taken off. Hey Rick, goedemorgen. The Hobart aviation fan, good morning. Hope everybody is doing well. We're watching KLM flight 1127 to Copenhagen, Boeing 737-800, 23 years old, first flight May 2000. Hey Liewe, goedemorgen. Alles goed kerel? Nice to see so many familiar names tuning in again so early in the morning already. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, good morning and welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, one of the 2 runways in use for departures right now. I will have to update the ticker because at the time I was setting up and also updating the ticker, this was the only runway in use for departures. This is KLM flight 1143, Boeing 737-800 going to Oslo. It is a 22-year-old airplane that had its first flight in August 2000. As you guys can see, it is blue skies all around. Mainland Europe under the influence sphere of a big building pressure, high pressure area. What wind there is blowing from the east right now. So there's a little bit of crosswind from the right for the airplanes taking off. Our first next airplane, I should say, is taxiing to the runway threshold, which gives me time to add 36C to the active runways for departures. Ja, Luwe, alles hier ook oké. It is still doable in terms of the temperature. Last time I checked the METAR, 21 degrees Celsius, so that is just over 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It is going to warm up as the day progresses. Temperature highs expected of 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. So in the 90s. Okay. KLM Embraer 190 flight 1173 going to Trondheim. This airplane 13 years old, first flight January 2010. I have updated the ticker to the current runway usage, so 06 is now the only runway used for arrivals. And Polderbaan 36 left, left, and 36 center are the only runways for departures. In terms of activity at the fire station, it does seem we're getting a bit of movement, but this is not one of the three, it's not part of the triplet of patrol vehicles we normally see. And with the exception of this vehicle, the station was still very much quiet, so it doesn't seem like we're going to see the firefighters on their daily patrol round, or near daily apparently, anytime soon. Although I will keep my eye out for it. Meanwhile, a little bit further to the right, our next airplane will be coming this way. Yet another Embraer, and it is foregoing the entrance that we are aligned with. So that's unfortunate. We'll have to wait for our first headshot. Douwe asks, which app are you using for runway usage? There is an app called Baangebruik. At least for me, as an Android user, it is in the Play Store. You can also go to lvnl.nl, which is the website of Luchtverkeersleiding Nederland, Air Traffic Control Netherlands. On the homepage of that website, just scroll down and you can already see the image that is also in the Baangebruik app. Bear in mind, it is typically running a few minutes behind. Typically you can see in practice whether or not runways have opened or closed before it gets depicted in the app. Hey Bram, goedemorgen. Fijn dat je er ook weer bij bent. Frank, goedemorgen. Good morning. Checking in from Limburg, where it is probably also quite warm already. Limburg, typically the part of the country that gets the warmest on warm days. If it is going to get 35 degrees Celsius, it is most likely going to happen in Limburg first. That looks like an A220 from Air Baltic? Question mark? The soundboard in action. Trying to chase away birds with predator bird sounds. Nice demonstration of that tool. Rodeon says, frisse morgen uit Paramaribo. Is it that cool there? I always thought in Suriname the temperatures are year-round comfortable. Vincent, bonjour, good morning. Eres, shalom, checking in from Tel Aviv. Good day to you. Welcome back. Nice to see you all. MJ van S, goedemorgen. Fijn dat je weer live bent. Thank you for being here. As long as the temperature doesn't get too warm, it is no punishment being out here. A lot to see, a lot to do. The best song of K3 so far. Inside joke for people from Belgium and the Netherlands. K3 being a music group. Originally I think it was for children, but it features 3 young women, so I think plenty of dads were also into K3 and would gladly have joined their children to the concerts that they performed. Are they still a group, by the way? Or is it a thing of the past? I don't know. I was too old already to enjoy it myself or be a fan myself, nor do I have any children, so I have absolutely no idea if K3 still even exists. Okay, so for the time being, a few departures taking place from the center runway. That does by no stretch means that Polderbaan is closed, but you already saw K3 passing by. I think they are doing a runway check. So I'm expecting traffic to this runway to resume quite soon. In fact, I can already see a couple that are coming over here. Unfortunately, looks like the... Oh wait, that's going to Charles de Gaulle, that's Air France. I did quickly see that Air Baltic, one of the 3 Air Baltic flights was a special livery, I think the Estonian flag. Was hoping I might be able to catch it, but we'll have to see. Okay, Elske says K3 is still very much a thing. Okay. Hey Patrick, goedemorgen. Bernd, good morning. Servus, checking in from Graz in Austria. Different lineup now though, Elske says. Yeah, I can imagine that the original members have become a bit too old to be commercially attractive. The first of the next batch of airplanes will be coming around the corner. Hey, and we do get to see some movement over at the fire station. They are already rolling out. A little bit of distance between them. Now looking up, I don't see any contrails at all. The only thing I see in the sky is the moon. No contrails visible. So I guess that is not an option today, looking at some contrails that might pass by. We'll have to make do with what is happening on the ground. Hey, goedemorgen Mark. Checking in from Waalwijk. Ion Formula Country Ball fan. Good morning. Which runway are you standing to watch? This is Polderbaan. Runway 36 left, 18 right. Currently in use for departures to the north. So today in use as 36 right. Good morning. Mark Brown checking in from Cambridge. Good morning to you too. Are you also having thunderstorms as was reported in Yorkshire right now? Hey, Frank Bergevoort checking in from Doetinchem. Looks like we have our first headshot. So let's have a look. That is an Embraer 190. And the Embraer behind it will be going to the runway threshold. This is KLM flight 1541. Embraer 190 will be going to Leeds. This airplane is 14 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April 2009. Hey Alvin, good morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon? Afternoon probably, late afternoon still. I always have to bite my tongue not to say oi dickhead, because watching a lot of Aussie men reviews, of course my warped perception is that everybody in Australia greets each other by saying oi dickhead. So that was an Embraer 190 taking the shortcut. Over at the threshold we have another Embraer 175 going to Darlington. KLM flight 1533, yeah, going to Darlington. It says T-side now, so a little bit different. One time, the one time it says Darlington, the other time it says T-side. It is the same destination though. This airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in February of the year 2017. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing next to the Polderbaan, which is runway 36 left right now, together with 36 center in use for departures. So at the moment parallel departures take place. As soon as the traffic offering reduces a little bit, slows down, back again. The expectation is that this will remain the only open runway for departures. Right now there are 2 in use and 1 for arrivals. They typically have 2 open for one and 1 for the other. Right now 2 for departures, 1 for arrivals. Later in the morning that is expected to switch, and in that case this will remain the only runway open for departures. The wind is blowing from the east, a handful of knots, 7 or so, so that means that there is a little bit of crosswind, but not too much. It's getting warm already. While I was setting up, it was already 21 degrees Celsius or just over 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Today is going to be a scorcher with highs later today expected to lie above 30 degrees Celsius. 33 to 35 degrees was expected, so that is in the 90s, approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Hence a morning stream. Now there's also a daddy with a small child standing at the roundabout, so they're definitely going to be sounding the horn for the young children. They seem to be enjoying it. Alrighty. Patrick is asking, what is your exact location for spotting? I'll go spot planes at Schiphol tomorrow. So, if you go to Google Maps and you go to Spottersplatz Polderbaan, you will see that there is a crossing just before it, and you need to, if you are coming to that crossing from the parking place, the official Spottersplatz of Polderbaan, and then take a left-hand turn, you will find a dead-end road. I don't know exactly what the name of that road is, but it is a dead-end road with a roundabout at the end, and that roundabout is over there, and I am up here in the grass a little bit further out so that I am aligned with this entrance or exit of the runway, so that air traffic taking off not from the runway threshold but from over here is facing us directly. I think they did cross the speed limit, Paul, absolutely. And Mol, good morning, good to see you again. Hope everybody is doing well. Not sure if I will be there tomorrow as well. It is said that later in the day thunderstorms are going to form, and they might also form tomorrow. So I'll have a look at the weather first before deciding whether or not I'm going out tomorrow. Very much going to depend on the weather. There are a couple of airplanes underway over here. A Boeing 737-900 and a Boeing 737-800. There is an E2 Embraer 195 to Bilbao now taking off from center. Now, also a 747 of course visible going to Miami. That is definitely, once it is going to depart, will be coming to this runway regardless of whether there is 1 or 2 runways open. We'll have to wait a little bit before the airplanes going out here have arrived. So this is KLM flight 1685, E2 Embraer 195 going to Bilbao in the north of Spain. New airplane, relatively speaking, 1 year old, first flight November 2021. Hey Remco, goedemorgen. Jean-Yves, salut, comment ça va? In the meantime, the airplanes, the 2737s are coming this way. Still nice and zen here. Not too much wind. No irritating ducks quacking all around you. No birds, nobody walking their dog. Ah, the fire trucks stealthily returning to the fire station. Let's see, that's the first, that's the second. They seem to have lost one. Oh wait, there was already one ahead. Now typically, since we are waiting for airplanes, we can stay with them for a bit longer. Typically they also do something with their vehicles. They test the hoses, the whatever you call them, that they use to extinguish fires with. Let's see if we can see them. Yeah, there we go. There you go. Now the right one is also extending the hose crane, whatever you can call it. Oh, the left one too. Morgen Mario, schön dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Dejan Blagejovic checking in from Melbourne. Good evening, mate. Hey Belgian Rail, good morning. Nice to see everybody tuning in. You're now watching a waterworks display brought to you by the Schiphol Firefighters. Now in the meantime, a 737 has arrived on the runway threshold, so let me turn around and show you guys that. KLM flight 1279 going to Edinburgh. 737-900. Airplane 21 years old, first flight October 2001. The other one is already lining up, going to Helsinki, Boeing 737-800. Let's turn around and show you guys. So this is KLM flight 1167, Boeing 737-800, destination Helsinki, Finland. 22-year-old airplane, first flight July 2000. Goedemorgen Tristan. Servus Peppi. Schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Ich nehme an, auch schönes Sonnenschein in Innsbruck heute. Ich glaube, ganz Europa gibt es Sonne jetzt. Okay, Marissa informing us that there are now a few heavies that have started their taxi towards us. That is good news. Let's have a look. Yes, there are a few on the move. Excellent idea, Rick. If you need to go to the bathroom or if you need to grab a fresh cup of coffee or a fresh cup of tea, now's the time. The heavies are taxiing towards us, so won't be long before it gets busy. Remco is giving us some nice background information about the crash standards in the truck's space for 13,300 liters of water, 1,600 liters of foam, and 250 kilograms of powder. So they're done playing with their water cannons and looks like they are reversing back into the station. Beep, beep, beep. I'm assuming it also will be making some noise when it reverses. Don't hear it. Haven't heard it also when the other two were reversing. Quick scan of the canal shows that it is still devoid of birds. I'm sure they're around, but they are hiding from sight. So with the exception of the one grebe we saw peacocking a little and doing a little bit of diving, no other birds have been spotted so far. A look at the main platform area. You guys will soon see a few heavies turning around, coming in from the right. Looks like the first heavy to arrive on the scene will be a 777-300 from KLM going to Lima in Peru, followed by a TUI Dreamliner 7878 going to MBJ, Montego Bay. Now in the meantime, you guys already saw it pass by, departure from center, which is still open for departures. But the heavyweights, the big gunners, are coming our way. So I'll happily leave the departures of the many Embraers that you always see during each stream to the center runway. Let the big guns come over here. Sander asks, is this the polderbaan? Yes, Sander, it is. Confirming. You're absolutely right. Hidde checking in from Oost-Nederland, the east of the Netherlands, where it is also probably sunny and warm. Rolians asks, how many flights per day? That's a good question. A lot. I don't know exactly how many, but definitely a lot. And yesterday was the last day before part of the Netherlands, I think the middle part, for the middle part of the Netherlands, the school summer holidays have begun. So we are expecting more outbound flights in the upcoming weeks, particularly on Saturdays. I'm hearing a helicopter, K3, also here, police chopper. Probably returning to base, which is at Schiphol Oost. That's K3. Using eagle sounds or something? Definitely sounds like birds of prey. The chopper is moving. To give some perspective, it is moving to Schiphol Oost. Also visible on flight radar. And here are the big birds that are going to take off from Polderbaan in a few minutes. In the meantime, I saw that Remco just became a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Remco, and welcome. You can now use all the special emojis that we have available for members. Thank you so much for your support. And Marissa and Jellard are both saying Atlas Air Queen on the move, also coming this way. Peter asks, what time do you have to get up to be here this early? Well, I don't live too far out. That's a good thing. I can always drive here, provided that there are no traffic jams, like for instance when TAKEOFF is open, but I can typically be here by car in 20 minutes or so. Setting up takes longer, so I usually get up around 7. At least that's when my alarm first goes off. If I am packed in and driving away from home around 8 o'clock, 8:15, typically allows me enough time to be live around 9:30. So not excessively early. That's a good thing because I am a night owl by nature. Schiphol is slowly moving to the runway threshold, and all the while more heavies are coming. So let's see. Runway threshold, 777-300 going to Lima. In the foreground, on the left, Dreamliner to Montego Bay. Behind it, A330 to Seattle. Behind it, Dreamliner to Bogota, and after that an EasyJet to Liverpool. Alright, so this is KLM flight 743 going to Lima in Peru. 777-300 ER for 12 years old, first flight, January 2011. Let's go! Do we fly? Flight 511 going to Montego Bay, Dreamliner 7878. This Dreamliner is 8 years old. First flight was in November 2014. Alright, Sander is in the EasyJet plane heading to Manchester. Excellent. Has it taken off yet, or will it take off shortly? Anyway, this is Delta Airlines flight 143, Airbus A330-300, destination Seattle, airplane age 6 years, first flight for March 2017. Almost going to Polderman, Sander is saying. Sander, are you sitting on the left hand side next to the window? We also had someone arriving on board a plane during the live stream. If you are sitting on the left hand side, put on the torch of your phone, hold it for the window, in front of the window, then we might be able to see you. Also, it will help if you are sitting on the left hand side to know where approximately, so which row you are sitting at. Lined up right now, Dreamliner to Bogota, but there's also traffic creeping over here, but it is holding short. This is KLM flight 749, 7879 Dreamliner going to Bogota in Colombia. 6-year-old airplane, first flight August 2016. Ooh, Nicholas Aviation 777 is in the Air Baltic A320, the Estonian flag livery. That is cool, because look at what is lining up right now. Haha. Are you sitting on the left hand side? So this is Air Baltic and the Estonian flag livery going to Riga. Airbus A320-300, 5-year-old airplane, first flight June 2018. This is you, Nicholas. Are you on the left hand side? Shine the light. Where are you sitting? Nah, airplane mode is BS. Pilots have told me that. No need to worry that your plane is going to crash. Well, I couldn't see anything. Maybe you guys did. Nicholas now airborne. Bon voyage. No sooner has he left or this EasyJet A320 is lining up. EasyJet flight 23442 going to Liverpool. 8-year-old Airbus. First flight of this airplane. April 2015, sorry. Yeah, it is a myth that you have to put your phone in airplane mode. It will not crash the airplane. Not that you can use your phone a lot when you're up in the sky, but I did at one point make a screenshot from flight radar while I was on board a Transavia 737, just about to turn onto the glide slope for the Polderbaan while on board the airplane. That was nice. Screenshot of where is your location exactly in that flight, in that airplane. Another Air Baltic A320, this one in the standard livery. Oh, for some reason it is not showing on flight radar, at least not on in my flight radar app. That's a bit odd. Now, as Melissa was already saying, heavies are on the way. Now, when is that airplane to Manchester going to take off? Did it already take off? For some reason this is also an airplane not showing on my flight radar. Let me get rid of the filter. Clear filter. It still doesn't show. Is that happening to you guys as well? The only thing I see in my vicinity right now is the 777 that is going to Quito. The airplane on the threshold, and also the previous A220 does not show, even when I get rid of all my filters. So Embraer 190, don't know where it is going to, don't know the plane's age, it doesn't show on flight radar over here. So are you guys seeing these airplanes on flight radar? Is it just me that I'm not seeing it? Do I need to reboot the app or something? Okay, let me see if maybe a reboot after this departure Well, I do see all the other upcoming traffic. So this is KLM flight 751, 777-200, ER, 19 years old, first flight April 2004, destination Quito. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live with me, Boy, and we are standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 36 left. One of the two runways used for departures. These airplanes take off to the north, the prevailing wind, a few knots from the east, crosswind from the right. But it is mostly calm in terms of the wind. Parallel departures taking place, runway 36 center also being used. Although the majority of the airplanes coming to this runway. The first queen of the day, Atlas Air to Miami, also getting closer by. Look at that. More heavies in the background also following her. I'm locking my tripod and I'm going to attempt a reboot of flight radar, see if maybe that will fix not seeing some airplanes. Right, close, open again. All right, enable split screen. Flight radar on the top and the live chat in the bottom half of the screen. All right, now two heavies are already taxiing towards the runway threshold. A Queen and a Dreamliner 787-10. Coming this way is an EasyJet A320 to Edinburgh, A330 to Houston, and another small airplane. But now, time to go back to Atlas Air. Flight 6161 going to Miami, Florida, Boeing 747-400. 24 years old. Going to Miami, and they probably have been listening to Let's Get Loud, Jennifer Lopez, because that was loud passing by. So a 24-year-old 747 began its career as an airplane in April of the year 1999, a true millennial. Right, EasyJet to Manchester also on the move. Now again, Sander, are you sitting on the left-hand side of the airplane? Will we be able to see you? That would be awesome. Now taxi from runway to gate, from gate to runway probably. Awesome. Now, the Queen. Next up, the Dreamliner 10. KLM flight 605, destination San Francisco. This airplane considerably younger. 2 years old, first flight December 2020. And Sander sitting on the left-hand side in the airplane, seat 19A, so that is just behind the wings or around the wings? Thomas Chow, good morning, good to see you. Timing is excellent. Nice batch of heavies right now. Sander sitting on the left hand side behind the wingtip. Hey Infinity, goedemorgen. So I will keep the camera zoomed in once the EasyJet to Manchester will be taking off. See if we can see Sander and his flashlights. It's getting a bit more busy over here. Now there was still a departure taking place from center just now, so it's the EasyJet to Manchester, right? Not the KLM, because this is the KLM to Manchester. 18 windows from behind. Well, if the airplane will depart in slow motion, I can count the windows and zoom in on the right one. Hey Snorri, goedemorgen, good morning. I think the EasyJet will take off first. The Embraer is still holding short. It's busy over here, a couple of airplanes ready to go from the earlier entrance. And also behind this A320 there's a KLM A330. Now also an American Dreamliner coming this way, that will be going to the runway threshold. Another airplane behind, 2 in a row. Traffic is picking up, folks. This is EasyJet A320, destination Edinburgh. 14-year-old airplane. First flight February 2009. Now the next airplane at the threshold is a heavy, so I'm guessing the little ones are going to cut in line. Speaking of heavies, also heavies taking off. Center also still very much in use. The middle of the Netherlands has just gotten their school summer holiday, so traffic is expected to increase as of today. Outbound traffic, holiday traffic. This is KLM flight 1073, Embraer 190, destination Manchester, 14-year-old airplane, first flight June 2009. Paul Pixel, good morning, good to see you again, my friend. Excellent timing, traffic is picking up. In the meantime, an EasyJet A320 has already entered the runway. It was behind this Embraer 190. Typically they don't have to wait long to get clearance. Not a lot of wake turbulence. This is EasyJet flight 22514 A320, destination London Luton. 12-year-old airplane, first flight December 2010. Now everything in my immediate vicinity on flight radar has turned blank. While I did see the airplanes earlier. That is interesting. Okay, my flight radar has gone dead in terms of the airplanes standing here in the vicinity. So that is a bit shitty. I think this airplane was going to Bonaire A330-200, but my flight radar doesn't show the airplane. I think there might be a hiccup in the app. I'm hoping there's no hiccup in the sound because damn, that was loud. So I'm not seeing any airplanes in my immediate vicinity. All the airplanes that are standing here lining up to go, I don't see them. The only airplanes that I do see some airplanes on flight radar, but those are the ones on the main platform area. The first one being the E2 Embraer 195 to Hamburg that is taxiing over here. I don't see all this traffic over here. I don't see it on my flight radar, so I'm not able to give you any background information right now. American Airlines Dreamliner. Oh, it's back, it's back. Bloody hell, is this what I'm paying a premium for? American Airlines Flight 221, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, destination Dallas, Texas. The airplane, 3 years old, first flight March 2020. Sondra, I'm blaming you. This is... Okay, everybody's flight radar has been acting up. Bloody hell, why not act up during the middle of the night? It's rush hour. If you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. This is the Polderbaan runway 36 left, one of the two runways in use for departures. My name is Boy, and we have departures taking place to the north, prevailing wind, a handful of knots from the east. Overall, as you guys can see, the sun is out, beautiful weather, already in the 20s Celsius or in the 70s Fahrenheit. It's going to be a scorcher today. The day's high is expected to lie above 30 degrees Celsius. So we are going to see temperatures in the 90s Fahrenheit. I'm glad there is a little bit of wind. Keeps me cool. It's already quite warm, but it is beautiful weather, so I'm not complaining. Over here, A330neo, destination Salt Lake City, Delta Airlines Flight 57, and this airplane, 3 years old. First flight was in March 2020. Let me show you, we have a little bit of a queue, more Delta, couple of little airplanes, and the pipeline is filling. They're even holding short here. A330neo, Salt Lake City, Delta Airlines Flight 57. They growl similarly to the XWBs that are on the A350. Not entirely the same, but similar. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are hearing it because of the directionality of the Sennheiser shotgun mic, but behind me you could already hear the old school A330 lining up. In fact, it looks like it is going already. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, what I'm thinking is that they are aborting and are vacating over here where I'm standing. That they already had a technical difficulty in the pre-flight checks, the pre-departure checks. The next airplane is already lining up, so aborted takeoff. This one is going to make a right-hand turn and vacate the runway over here. So we will be getting a butt shot. Did not expect that. Not sure what is going on, but mark my words. Oh, it is taking a later exit. It will take the next exit. I guess this corner is too sharp. And again, a Delta A330 indeed, ladies and gentlemen. This angle is too sharp. The next exit is a 90-degree turn, which is doable. Does give me some time to rehydrate a little. The first of 3 pints of water. Alright, well, if you just tuned in, you're watching AMS Live. We were supposed to see departures, but we are also seeing a Delta A330 that has just vacated the runway because of technical difficulties apparently. I don't think that the CRJ is going to wait much longer, so I'm going to turn around. Hey! WTF! WTF! This is something I missed. 2 departures having been cancelled. A320 from AVION Express Malta to London Gatwick also. WTF, 2 in a row. So we have 2 aborted takeoffs, Delta A330 and also AVION Malta. But it was supposed to be flying to London Gatwick. So we did get a butt shot after all, just not from the airplane I was expecting it to be from. SAS taking off to Copenhagen. Meanwhile we have 1 aborted airplane, aborted takeoff, and here is another. Really don't know why or what is going on here. If anybody is listening in on ATC, do let me know. So happy that I checked the oil in my car this morning and decided to top it up before going here. Don't want to be stranded with car trouble on my way home. As apparently these airplanes are. Boeing 737-800 going to Aberdeen, KLM flight 1443. The airplane 3 years old, first flight December 2019. Hey there Janet, good morning. Good to see you again. I'm doing well. As you can see, it is an exciting morning. Temperatures are still doable, although I will update the ticker later because temperatures have increased. At the time I was checking the METAR, it was 21 degrees Celsius. I'm sure it must have increased by a few degrees already. Well, another of those planes that are not the most reliable in terms of guaranteed takeoffs. E2 Embraer 195. Going to Hamburg, flight 1779. but this one is going by the looks of it. Unless they are aborting before the V-rotate, before V1. Now this is looking to be a regular departure. Airplane is 1 year old, first flight February 2022. It is taking to the sky, to the skies. It's plural, right? Taking to the skies, that's the expression. Well, the engines, or was that just the APU or something? It sounded like they turned off an engine. It is awfully quiet, I have to say. Not sure, the way it is oriented, I cannot see whether the engines are spinning. Also, well no, this one does have exhaust gases coming out of the engines. Alright, now importantly, Sander is on this plane, A319 going to Manchester. Bon voyage. I see the lights. Yeah. The light clearly visible. We saw you, Sander. The light was very clear and very visible. And Sander is on his way to Manchester, taking to the sky safely. We have seen the light, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. Beautiful. Now, what a strange situation. We have an A330 over there. And if I shut up, you can hear it's eerily quiet. The same goes for this airplane. Now the downside of this airplane being stuck over there is that everything will be going to the runway threshold. But is traffic going to the runway threshold? What we are now seeing is that the next airplane is holding short before going onto the runway. Why is that? Because if it has a technical problem, it will have to vacate via the third exit because the first two are now occupied. You cannot leave the runway via this exit because it is blocked. You cannot leave the runway via the second exit because it is blocked by this A330. Interesting situation we have going on right here. Delta says it's ready, Infinity is saying. Are you listening in on ATC, mate? What a morning. Now, runway center is still being used. That looks like an E2. Is that an E2 Embraer 195? I think it might be. So we have an interesting situation going on here. Two airplanes that aborted their takeoff, ladies and gentlemen. If you just tuned in. Okay, I'm hearing spooling up. So we are seeing movement over there. Another E2 Embraer 195. Now these, I said it before, we already saw a few rejected takeoffs or aborted takeoffs from E2s as well. And ATC says KLM has a problem, Infinity is saying. So will we be seeing... Yeah. That is not spooling up for departure, ladies and gentlemen. WTF. 3 defective airplanes, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to make a separate video of this. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. This is an E2 Embraer 195 that is also aborting its takeoff. That is remarkable in its own, you would say, but Here we have another airplane that just aborted its initial departure, an A320 from AVION Express, operated by AVION Express Malta, destination London Gatwick. And it has to make way for the E2 Embraer 195 that is also going back. Is that it then? Are you wondering? No. It isn't. Over here we have a Delta A330 that has also aborted its initial departure for reasons still unknown. Infinity now saying that BA will go further, so the AVION Express. Now, at least one of the exits is vacated again. So if this Delta A330 will also be running into trouble, at least there is an exit available. Let's see, it has lined up. Delta Airlines Flight 73, Airbus A330-300, destination Atlanta, Georgia. This airplane 19 years old, first flight February 2004. Issues thus far. Let's see if the landing gear is going to retract normally. That is also a phenomenon we've seen a couple of times before, particularly on the A330s, that they have cooling issues and need to keep the runway landing gear extended in order to cool the brakes. Now I do see the mechanism in action. Yes, it is retracting. Okay. No issues there. Yes, Matthijs. 3 aborted takeoffs. How about that? Hey Barbs, good morning. It is a very exciting Saturday morning. So we still have a Delta A330 and it looks like both the E2 Embraer 195 and the A320 are returning to the gate. Haha, 3 aborted takeoffs within the time span of 10 minutes, indeed. So 2 going out, 1 coming in. Coming this way is another Delta A330-300 to Portland, Oregon. Now, the pilots can say hi to their colleagues. They're facing each other. No longer visible on flight radar, but it is still very much standing here. I did replace one of the emojis, by the way. Got rid of the British Airways that wasn't used a lot in favor of Delta. Which is a bit more interesting to use perhaps, particularly today. Hey there Yorkshire, good morning. You turned in just in time or maybe just a little too late. We have 3 aborted takeoffs in 10 minutes time. Delta still standing still. And an A320 is also still standing still, and an E2 Embraer 195 is returning to the gate. Still no movement on the left from the Delta. And the A320 also still standing still. That is supposed to go to London Gatwick. Let's turn around the camera, go to what hopefully is going to be a successful departure of another Delta A330. This is Delta Airlines flight 179, A330-300, destination Portland, Oregon. Now spooling up. This airplane, 16 years old, first flight October 2006. Right, things seem to be going as planned so far. Here too, the retracting of the landing gear is always interesting to see. Will it happen? Do they need to cool first? Whenever we did see A330s that first needed to cool the brakes, it was the Deltas that were doing that. And here too, it looks like the gear is not retracting and they first need to air cool the brakes. It is as if they were listening in on the stream and decided, well, let's give them what they want. So yeah. Another one of those phenomenons that we have often seen before. Delta A330s needing to air cool the brakes. What a show this is. Now folks, if you just tuned in, welcome. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbound runway 36 right, left. That should be in use for departures. We're currently waving goodbye to a Delta A330 that still has its main landing gear down. Now, at least it got off the ground successfully, which is more than we can say from another Delta A330 that is still parked over here. I'm going to show you in a minute. That is an aborted takeoff. Now, that in itself is something you don't see every day, but this is the first of 3 aborted takeoffs within the time span of 10 minutes. We have another 2. One airplane is still visible, the other has already returned to the gate. That was an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM. Over here is an A320 that was supposed to go to London Gatwick. That is still standing still there. We're not sure yet if it is going to return to the gate as well, nor do we know what the Delta will be doing. All we know is that they are standing still and have aborted their takeoff. 3 within 10 minutes. Absolutely something you don't get to see every day. Hey Gerrit, goedemorgen. Now, what a start of the weekend. Now there is traffic still going to depart. Luckily, the runway is accessible again. We did see the departure of one of our viewers who also shown his torch. Shown, yeah, that's the right tense. Safely on his way to Manchester. Norwegian, who is it on the tail? It is a lady. Again, my flight radar is acting up, I'm not seeing it. That is so weird. Again, I'm not seeing any. The first airplane now visible for me on flight radar is the American Airlines to Philadelphia. Oh, and now they are back. Okay, let's see. Norwegian Wenche Foss livery. Going to Copenhagen. Now, taxiing to the runway threshold, we have Shamrock Aer Lingus going to Dublin, A320, followed by American Airlines Dreamliner to Philadelphia. Okay, Aer Lingus will also be going to the runway threshold. So let's go to there. Norwegian, flight A339, destination Copenhagen. Wenche Foss livery, 737-800, 9 years old, first flight September 2013. Let's have a look at the lady on the tail. Now isn't that lovely to see someone smiling instead of a grumpy face? A lot of the men depicted on the tails do look rather grumpy. Not this lady, she looked cheerful. So much more pleasant to look at. Right, taking off. Also arrived is the French fries van over at the main parking place of the Polderbaan. Delta A330, one of the 3 aborted takeoffs we have seen in 10 minutes time, still standing still. The A320 over here as well, still standing still, one of 3. The third one has already returned to the gate. Very special indeed. Shamrock, flight 603, Airbus A320, destination Dublin. And this A320 is 14 years old. First flight was in February of the year 2009. Infinity is informing us that center has now closed, and that makes 36 left, the only runway open for departures. That is good news indeed. Firefighters also seem to be doing some acrobatics with their vehicles. If you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live with me, Boy, and we are standing next to the Polderbaan, where departures take place, or at least on paper they should take place. We have seen 3 aborted takeoffs within 10 minutes. Earlier, 2 airplanes of the 3 are still standing here with their tails towards us, and the third one has already returned to the gate. The infamous Delta A330-300 being one of them. And the other infamous airplane for aborted takeoffs is the KLM E2 Embraer 195 that has already returned to the gate. The third airplane still standing here. I think it's a lease or a rental. Should be flying to London Gatwick. Over here at the threshold, American Airlines flight 203, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, going to Philadelphia, 2-year-old airplane. First flight June 2021. Well, in Aeolus Capital I do hear noise, so if the engines are turned off, then at least they have the APU on. There is a little engine that I'm hearing. Interestingly, a 777 will be taking off right in front of us. Look at what is coming this way. Also something you don't see very often. I guess it's going to precede the American Airlines Dreamliner. Haha, 777-300 taking off right in front of us. How about this for a headshot, ladies and gentlemen? KLM flight 597, 777-300 ER, destination Cape Town, South Africa. This is an 11-year-old airplane, first flight June 2012. What a machine! Hello there, pilots! Still no ducks over here in the canal, and with that much noise, I'm not surprised. So these airplanes are taking off to the north. The prevailing wind, a handful of knots blowing from the east, a little bit of crosswind from the right. But the wind is calm. If you look in the water, you can see the reflection. Looking at chimney smoke further out in the Westport Amsterdam area, you can see this still rising vertically somewhat. Not a whole lot of wind. We do have a grebe in the water. It is coming back. I think it was the peacocking grebe that we saw earlier. But I'm also hearing spooling up noises. American Airlines to Philadelphia. What a show it has been thus far. Who would have thought? So we saw 3 aborted takeoffs within the time span of 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of the airplanes are still standing here. Apparently one of them, the Delta A330, will need to get towed away. I'm not going anywhere. We'll be around to see it happen. We have front row seats over here. And also a lovely grebe over here. Check it out, Amsterdam, Schiphol Airport wildlife. As most of you will know by now, the runway area, there's only a bit of water in between. A lot of birds that you can see, grebes, ducks, coots, herons, seagulls, the lot. Alright, now lined up at the threshold KLM flight 1009 going to London Heathrow, 737-800, 12 years old. First flight May 2011. Alright, so the BA, one of the 3 airplanes that initially aborted the departure, will be taking off in a moment. If it is going next, and I think it will, because the next airplane at the threshold, if you look in the background, is an A330. So due to the waiting time after the wake turbulence of the heavy, I'm thinking that is the airplane, that the A320 that initially aborted its departure, one of the 3, so at least one will hopefully get underway successfully. I do want to see it if it does move onto the runway, so I'm going to turn around the camera. So this is the airplane that initially aborted. Second attempt at going to London Gatwick, AVION Express, operated by AVION Express Malta, flying for British Airways, Speedbird, flight 2825, destination London Gatwick. This airplane is 15 years old. First flight of this airplane was in June 2008. So this is one of the 3 airplanes that aborted initially. The second one being an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM that has already returned to the gate. The third one is a Delta A330, still standing to the right, to the left of this airplane. You will see it once I start panning. And apparently this one apparently A330 in the background will need to get towed away. And in the meantime, good morning to Peter, good morning to FJWH, Guy, good morning, Camille, Rick, X-Men, man. So many viewers tuning in the meantime. Sorry, I've been a bit distracted with everything going on over here. A330 spooling up, time to turn around the camera. So one of the 3 aborted airplanes just took off successfully. This is KLM flight 537, Airbus A330-200 going to Kigali. This A330, 16 years old already. First flight was in November 2006. And Patrick says good morning from Rochdale in the UK. Good morning to you, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody is enjoying. It is a bustling morning. K3 has been replaced by K2, one of the 4 bird control vehicles. In the meantime, a couple of coots have also awoken. As if nothing is going on a few hundred meters further up. Now, Delta A330 still standing here. Apparently it has to be towed. It sounds like the engines are off. I do hear that the APU is still on, so the people are not baking inside, hopefully. Next up, Georgian Airways, Boeing 737-700, destination Tbilisi. This airplane is 13 years old. First flight of this airplane was in November 2009. Oké, Rick has to go. Rustig aan hè. Fijne dag verder. Zie je gauw. Talk to you soon, mate. Be careful that you don't exert yourself too much when it gets warmer. Me, I'm still standing here, but operating a camera and standing still is not as intensive as doing other stuff. Home improvement particularly. Hopefully you're not doing a renovation of an attic, because that is going to be scorching hot. Hey Jons, goedemorgen. Thanks for the kind words. Great stream, nice camera work, lovely commentary. Keep up the great work. We'll definitely do that, mate. Next up, KLM flight 1855, Embraer 190 going to Düsseldorf. This airplane is 14 years old. First flight of this airplane was in January 2009. Oh, and autofocus is still on. I'm switching between manual focus and autofocus. When I go to the birds, I go to autofocus because it is nearby. Oh, lovely. Well, now, too far out. Now, we're going to see a few more heavies. For a change, another 777. It will be preceded by this A330 from Delta, so another interesting departure in theory. First up will be this, and it is EasyJet flight 27825 Airbus A319 going to Pisa in Italia. This is a 13-year-old airplane, first flight October 2009. In the meantime, I am behind the laptop trying to update the METAR. Temperature has increased to 25 degrees Celsius already, so it is approximately 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind blowing from 080 degrees with 6 knots. Not too much to write home about. So I have updated the latest METAR into the ticker just now. Not sure if the runway usage is still current. I will look at. I will check that later. Obviously, business first. It is going to be a scorcher of a day over here in the Netherlands today. Right now it is 25 degrees Celsius already, so that is approximately 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It is going to warm up even further with the day's highs lying between 33 and 35 degrees Celsius. So that's in the 90s Fahrenheit, approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit of wind blowing from the east, continental hot air. Hence it is warming up. It is said that rain showers might form later in the day and overnight. Not sure yet if we are also going to be affected over here in the west of the country. Time will tell. For now, in the upcoming hours, not a cloud in the sky, so we're going to be good for a while. So this is Delta Airlines flight 47. It is another A330-300 destination New York JFK. Now, Delta A330, one aborted and is still standing here waiting to get towed back to the gate. Apparently it cannot make it there on its own. Another one we saw take off and had heating issues with the landing gear that kept climbing out without retracting the landing gear. This time this A330 is seemingly taking off without any issues. So that is good news. Hey there NJ, hey there Jalal Pro Cool. Nice to see so many people tuning in. Let me quickly turn around the camera. Right now this is the only runway in use for departures. And the next departure will be China Southern Cargo to Shanghai. updated the ticker with the current runway usage as well. Two runways. And this being the only one used for departures right now. This is the Polderbaan, runway 36 left, 36 right, and 06 being used for arrivals. This China Southern Cargo flight 454, destination Shanghai, 777 freighter, 9 years old, first flight July 2013. If you just tuned in and you thought, hey, wasn't there an airplane in the background, you're damn right. Delta A330, one of the 3 airplanes that within the time span of 10 minutes aborted. One of the 3 already gone back to the gate. The other one eventually did have a successful departure. This is the 3rd one. Engines are out, APU is running. Apparently it needs to get towed away. We're still waiting for the tow truck. And in the meantime, departures continue. This is another Delta A330 going to Minneapolis, flight 161, A330-300, 17 years old, first flight July 2005. And then all of a sudden it got a little quiet over here. Previous plane in the bottom left quadrant, still visible, also flying to the north still. Visibility is good over here. Not a cloud in the sky, so you can follow the airplanes quite far. Let's have a look over at the flight radar. What is going on? Looks like we are next going to see Air Europa to Madrid, 737. 777 from United also active on the platform. There is an Embraer 190 to Aalborg on the move. With this being the only runway in use for departures. It's only a matter of time before the next traffic will come this way. Let's have a look at the official Spottersplatz parking place. A camper, Dixie's, French fry truck. Where is that, the ice cream van? No, the ice cream van is over here in the center. This is where you can get your French fries. More campers. A few people at the gate. Now there's also a cycling path that you can walk onto. Yesterday and the day before yesterday I was streaming from over there because traffic was landing on this runway. This of course being a more appropriate location to stream departures from. In the water all is relatively quiet. Chimney smoke over at Westport, Amsterdam area. Current wind is blowing from the east. Crosswind from the right for the airplanes taking off today. And still standing here, but with its APU on, you can clearly hear that. of this Delta A330. So this is one of the 3 airplanes that had an aborted takeoff within 10 minutes time. The other 2 airplanes have been an A320 that in the meantime has successfully taken off to London Gatwick on second instance. And the third one, an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM that didn't even bother, just vacated the runway and taxied back to the gate, never to be seen again. Now apparently it was mentioned in the chat that this airplane needs to be towed away. The engines are off, you can hear something, but what you're hearing is the APU, the auxiliary power unit, making sure that electricity still runs, making sure that the AC still works. The engines themselves have turned off. I'm thinking it is spooling up, it is turning on the engines. Yep, it is. So that's interesting. New development, ladies and gentlemen. It is restarting its engines by the sound of it. Now in the meantime, 4 airplanes are coming this way. Boeing 737 from Air Europa to Madrid, an Embraer 175. I can also see KLM flight 601, that's a Dreamliner to LAX on the move. A330 from KLM to Bonaire, also on the move. So we are going to see more traffic in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. If you need to go to the bathroom, do so now. If you need to grab a fresh cup of coffee or a fresh cup of tea, now's the time. It is definitely looking like the A330 has turned on, or is trying to. Can definitely see one of the engines seems to be turning. You can see exhaust gases if you look behind the main landing gear, between the ground and the bottom of the fuselage. Now, because it is homogeneous, the background, you cannot see the exhaust gases of the APU, the exhaust of which is always in the back. So whether it is going to take off after all, or if it is going to go back to the gate, and if it's going to go on its own, or if it needs to get towed away, time will tell. For now, I'm still going to be around. If you just tuned in and you're wondering what is going on over here, this is one of the 3 airplanes that aborted its takeoff within 10 minutes earlier this morning. At one point we had 2 airplanes blocking 2 exits. It is spooling up, it is moving. Interesting development. Will it be going back to the gate, or will it attempt another takeoff? Judging by the length it has been standing still, I wouldn't be surprised if it returned to the gate. Embraer 175 in the meantime taking off. I think it is. Going back to the gate. Another butt shot we rather wish we didn't have to see, but there you go. They did have a long time to check up on things. Oh! Is it? Oh, it is attempting another takeoff. That is going to be interesting. Number 2. How about that? Nice. So, if this will be a successful departure, then the only one that eventually did not take off will be the E2 Embraer 195. We'll find out in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. First up, KLM flight 601, 787-10 Dreamliner, destined to go to Los Angeles, LAX. A 2-year-old airplane, first flight August 2020. Obviously the bird control vehicle being no match for that Dreamliner. Hopeless race to begin with. Look at the flags already high up, and then the curvature as soon as it rotates. More pressure built on the wings, lifting up the airplane. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Second attempt, Delta A330. The first one failed. It has parked, has been standing still for a long period of time. Now the second attempt of Delta Airlines flight 135 to go to Detroit. This A330 is 16 years old. First flight December 2006. Fingers crossed it's going to be a successful departure. Here we go. And it is airborne. Let's have a look. Landing gear. Also retracting right away. That looks all normal. What do you think? Could have been a problem. Unruly passengers. Something else. Has anybody heard anything being mentioned on ATC about the possible reason for this delay? Right, well, 2 of the 3 initially aborted flights have taken off. 1 has returned to the gate. The KLM E2 Embraer 195 being the one returning to the gate. Let's see. This is KLM flight 1325 Embraer 190 going to Alessand. The airplane is 7 years old, first flight December 2015. Okay, so they did have engine problems, okay. Or the coffee machine, or the ice cream machine. So if you just tuned into the show, welcome. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Things have normalized again somewhat just now. It was supposed to be a morning of departures, and it still mostly has been so far, but it was interrupted a little bit. It became a little bit abnormal when within 10 minutes we saw 3 airplanes that aborted their takeoff and were obstructing all the exits. 2 being blocked simultaneously by airplanes that vacated the runway and were troubleshooting. Right now this is Air Europa in the SkyTeam livery. Almost be inclined to think it is KLM, but it's Air Europa in the SkyTeam livery going to Madrid, Boeing 737-800. But at first glance you would think it is just a regular KLM airplane. This is an 11-year-old airplane. First flight was in April 2012. Taking to the sky. Meanwhile, things are getting a bit more busy over here. We have an airplane that will be taking off right in front of us. We also have an airplane already lined up on the runway threshold. And in the meantime, I saw a super chat from Familie de Jong. Thank you so much for that. And in the meantime, a super sticker from Alvin, a red box of popcorn, which I will highlight in a minute, because I have to go back to the camera. Follow this Transavia's departure to Alicante 737-800. In the Star Alliance livery. A320, destination Munich, flight 2303. This airplane 10 years old, first flight January 2013. And thanks again Alvin for the red box of popcorn. Definitely something you need to have when there's so much drama going on. Plus, also stock up on sodium with the warmth. Getting in enough water and sodium, very important on days like today. It is already 25 degrees Celsius, probably a bit warmer already in the meantime. If you're used to Fahrenheit, we're already in the 80s and it is getting warmer today. Today's highs in excess of 30 degrees Celsius later today. So that's in the 90s, creeping up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Still not a cloud in the sky, beautiful weather. Next up, sky up. And I think it is for Corendon. Flight to Tenerife, 737-800. Netherlands, the school summer holidays have begun, so as of today Schiphol is expecting a lot more holiday traffic outbound to destinations such as Tenerife, like this airplane. This is a 17-year-old Boeing, first flight March 2006. Thought I heard something, but that is just a big bird. I thought maybe 36 Center had reopened, but it looks like it hasn't. Next up, United Airlines Flight 21, 777-200, destination Houston, Texas, has just arrived on the scene, still taxiing to the runway threshold. The triple from KLM that we saw take off right in front of us is the exception to the rule. Typically, the heavies will taxi to the runway threshold, which is out there. So in a few moments we are going to see this departure. And then this gives me some time to say thank you to Jons for a very generous super chat, saying a small contribution for all the effort. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, Jons. I'm also seeing that Kathleen has entered the chat. Good morning to you. Still 5:45 a.m. The early bird catches the worm. You sure did miss some interesting action going on, Kathleen. Did you already hear about the 3 aborted takeoffs that we witnessed within 10 minutes? With 2 of the exits over here being obstructed by airplanes wagging their tail to us. Again. Oh, and now I do see that center has opened again. Bummer. United Airlines Flight 21 going to Houston, Texas, 777-200. 16-year-old airplane, first flight March 2007. In the meantime, very serene. You hear the rustling of the grass. Some insects. Some birds. Now, the wind is still calm, blowing from the east mostly. Not a lot of wind. The chimney smoke still rises vertically, as you guys can see. Yeah, Rick is asking if I can give a shout out to his son Bram, who is also checking. Hey Bram, goedemorgen. Hoop dat je het naar je zin hebt. Welkom bij de show. So, after having had a lot of action, it seems a bit calmer right now. We're waiting for the next airplanes to come this way. It is a taxi, a significant taxi to get here. There's a coot on this little island, Stony Island. Not sure what it is. I think a brick or something. Bit of concrete. Otherwise, at least in the vicinity over here, not a lot to see in terms of water birds. Showing you the stream. We see some inbound traffic for runway 06. That looks like a triple from KLM. So arriving traffic for 06. This is what you can see from over here. Obviously, during the winter, when the trees are not in leaf, you can see more. However, there are a few openings, so you do see something. But over here is where you can see most. And then this is, I think, almost the, yeah. Here where the mound or whatever it is of grass begins is where we can, where we stop being able to see the airplanes. Looking up in the sky, not a contrail to see. It is all blue, no clouds either, but also no contrails that we can follow in the meantime. We'll have to wait a little for traffic to come this way. In the meantime, departures from center take place, and this is Corendon Airlines flight 3596, Boeing 737-800, destined for Izmir in Turkey. A 23-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in January 2000. Next on center, it looks like an A350. Singapore Airlines. Is also going to center then. The next A350 will be China Airlines, flight 74, going to Taipei. A350-900. I think I can already hear it spool up. Okay, well, take a good nap there, Rick. Marissa, also thank you so much for joining again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you soon, undoubtedly. Alrighty, A350 coming up. Now, runway 36 center will be seeing two consecutive A350s. The next airplane to take off from runway center is going to be the A350 from Singapore Airlines. Let me have a look. Polderbound. Is it still open or did they temporarily close it? No, it is still open. Parallel departures and Kaagbaan, the only runway for arrivals right now. And in the meantime, thank you so much, Stranger, for A very nice super chat. Cheers to boy, the birds and the man-made birds. Haha, absolutely. Now the next airplane to take off from center is going to be the Singapore Airlines A350. Looks like it is turning onto the runway as we speak. Let me do a quick update. I think I'm even hearing it spool up. Not sure if you guys are hearing it as well. So I just updated the ticker with both the current runway usage and with the latest weather. Still 25 degrees out here. And here we go. Singapore Airlines flight 323, A350-900, destined for Singapore. Airbus 7-year-old airplane that had its first flight in February of 2016. John admires my discipline because he would have already been to visit the French fries truck. Well, I'm standing here and hard to get lunch and also do some filming simultaneously. I do see a contrail, the first one I have seen since I have been here. Now let me see if I can show you guys, because pointing the camera is still challenging with all the reflections. Ah, there it is. Now let's flip the screen so that I can see and also provide shade for the view. This airplane is flying to the west, if not a bit to the northwest. From the east it is already west of me. I think it is already over the North Sea by now. It is relatively far out already. There was also a little airplane that just crossed it to the north from the south, which looked like also a twin. So there are contrails visible, but they are minute. Let me see, is that other one still visible? Maybe you guys are seeing it, but being out here with a not very bright screen and a lot of reflections, I'm not seeing it. We are going to see another Delta A330 up next. Going to Boston. Not sure if it's going to cross the runway or if it's going to turn, has to taxi around it. Although I am also starting to get a little peckish, so French fries do sound very nice. Truly says there's a China Airlines cargo Boeing 747-400 coming in for runway 06, or to take off, or oh yeah, 747 number 24 land for arrival on runway 06. Is that it already? Where was it? Oh, there. Is that it? I think that might be it. That's it, isn't it? Or That, no, that is the smaller one preceding it, arriving from Glasgow, isn't it? Seems tiny. Don't think that is it already. Okay, so that's the preceding airplane. That means we will be seeing the 747 over here in a minute. Nice entertainment until we are waiting for the next airplane to come this way. So we'll be appearing in a few minutes. Number 7 most tracked worldwide on flight radar right now. China Airlines cargo, Boeing 747-400, flight 5685, tracked by 424 people. Arriving from Mumbai, or Bombay, after 8 hours and 25 minutes of flying. 19-year-old airplane, first flight May 2004. This must be it then. Yes, this resembles a 747, that I can now see as well. You might pick up on it. The airplanes arriving also make a little noise in advance. With the current direction of the wind you are hearing it, or at least I'm able to hear it. So I'm hoping you guys are hearing it as well. And this is where the following stops. Except for the tail, like a shark fin, just sticking out a little bit for only a brief moment. That is where the following ends because we aren't able to see it anymore. Alright, this is KLM flight 1345, Embraer 175, destination Billund, and this airplane is 6 years old. Its first flight was in July 2017. In the meantime, a big bird has just taken off from center. Is that Qatar? I've only got small real estate on my phone with a split screen for both the chat and flight radar, so I'm focused on what is going on right here around the runway threshold. So I don't know what airplane this was, but it looked like it might have been Qatar. Dave, good day to you, sir. If you just tuned in, you missed out on 3 aborted takeoffs within 10 minutes earlier this morning. Once I get home, I'm going to make a separate clip of it, upload it as a separate video for you guys to see. It was interesting. We had a Delta A330, an E2 Embraer 195 from KLM, and an A320 all aborting their takeoff. And at one point we had 2 exits being obstructed by planes that had turned off the runway. Now this is Delta Airlines flight 259, another A330-300 destined for Boston, Massachusetts, and this is a 6-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January 2017. Now earlier we did also have one A330 that was having cooling issues and wasn't able to retract the landing gear right away. It looks like this one is retracting the landing gear normally. Okay, so no issues there. Alright, so the next airplane to depart right here, almost at the runway threshold, Embraer 175, destination Gothenburg, KLM flight 1157. Earlier we also had one of our viewers taking off to Manchester, sitting next to the window, having the torch of his phone on in front of the window, and we all could see it. It was a beautiful thing. We have seen the light. Salvation has descended upon us, so we're all blessed and going into the weekend feeling all zen and happy. This is KLM flight 1157 once again, going to Gothenburg, Embraer 175, 6-year-old airplane, first flight January 2017. And well, let's see what is happening next. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live with me, Boy, and it has been a very interesting morning. Three aborted takeoffs in 10 minutes time. We also saw the departure of one of our viewers, and we could see him shining the torch of his phone in front of the window, successfully going to Manchester. As you guys can see over here, it is sunny, not a cloud in the sky. We're under the influence of high pressure over here in mainland Europe. There is a little bit of wind blowing from the east at the moment. Hot air, continental air. It is already 25 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to warm up even further. Today's highs are expected to lie around 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. So that's in the 90s, approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was said that later in the day or in the evening, maybe overnight, thunderstorms might form. Still unclear where or when. For now, over here, everything seems to be a-okay. Not a cloud in the sky. Atmosphere does not seem to be unstable right now. Departures taking place to the north. The prevailing wind coming from the east. A little bit of crosswind from the right. At the moment, parallel departures taking place from 36 center and from 36 left, which is where I am standing. Our next airplane, Speedbird, going to London Heathrow, A320, flight 431, one of the many flights between Amsterdam and London Heathrow by both KLM and British Airways. You can also see that there's a KLM 777 going to YYZ, that is Toronto, on the move. We will be seeing it shortly. Now let's see what this A320 is going to do. We're standing in line with one of the entrances or exits, depending on which way you look at it. Are we going to see a headshot of this Airbus? I think we might. Or not. No, this one is going to the runway threshold. That's a bit unfortunate. Janet has to go again Thank you so much for joining, Janet. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. I hope to see you soon again. In the background, another airplane coming this way, 737-800 KLM to Bergen. 777 from KLM to Canada is turning around the southern threshold of runway 36 center. Still has to come up again this way, so it will take a few more minutes. Before then we will see the departure of this British Airways flight to London Heathrow. This is Speedbird flight 431 going to London Heathrow. This airplane is 9 years old. First flight of this airplane was in November 2013. Up next, KLM 737, also foregoing the entrance over here and going to the runway threshold. In the meantime, let me also check the runway usage app. Still parallel departures, single runway for arrivals. Is that another triple? I think it might be. See no wingtips, so it's not an A330. Looking at the tail, pretty sure it is a triple. Going from one plane to the other, this is KLM flight 1187 going to Bergen. Here's a Boeing 737-800. 4 years old, first flight was in March 2019. Ha! Good day, Lance. How? Oh, wet. The Bugatti Club has been wet. So there too. Already one of the viewers from Yorkshire earlier this morning mentioned rain showers and thunderstorms. Lance, do check in later. We have had a very interesting morning. 3 aborted takeoffs within the time span of 10 minutes, 2 of which eventually did take off. 1 returned to the gate. We also saw the departure of one of our viewers who we could see shining the torch of his phone in front of the window. Also something I might post, not sure yet. But it was a very interesting morning. At the moment a bit more quiet, but definitely still a lot going on. Hey there Anja, goedemiddag. And thanks for the warning. I have coated myself in a thick layer of SPF 30 sunscreen before going out, as I have been doing when it is sunny like this. So far, seems to have protected my skin. I haven't been burned since, so it seems to be doing its job. But een gewaarschuwd mens telt voor twee, as we say in Dutch. Absolutely. Goods nearby. A little foraging or something. I'm not sure what it is that they are doing. Is that eating flies or is it eating grass? Or something different? Emirates triple in the distance, taking off. That would be Emirates flight 146, destination Dubai. In the meantime, we are going to see our own 777 departure in a few moments. So let me show you guys. Turning onto the runway threshold is this 777 KLM flight 691 777-200 ER 17-year-old airplane going to Toronto, Canada. Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you so much for your kind words, my friend. I'm doing my best. Glad you're enjoying it. Tarom 737. Taking off from center. Small 700. You can see the stubby fuselage. On its way to Bucharest, undoubtedly. Now let's have a look. A couple of planes are coming this way. Delta A330 Neo to New York JFK will be first, followed by an Embraer 175 that is going to Dublin. The former already visible. I think we also see the latter. Truly asks, no fence. No, the only fences that we have around the runway area is when there are bridges, such as here. Then you do have a fence with barbed wire, but other than that, it's just a matter of taking a pole and jumping over if you really wanted to. Now, let me also do a bit of hydrating. A340 inbound. That is good news, folks. Surinam Airways to Paramaribo, undoubtedly. The only one now frequenting Amsterdam, and it is beautiful. Bit of a copycat livery. Looks very similar to Belgian Airways, but then again it is a nice colorful livery. So that's definitely worth sticking around for if you don't have any other obligations, ladies and gentlemen. So folks, if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live with me, Boy. We're standing over here at the Polderbaan, runway 36 right, left. Keep forgetting, 18 right, 18 left, 36 right. No, 36 left, 18 right. 3 runways at Schiphol, running north to south. So we have 18 left, right and center, and also 36 left, right and center. Even for a regular like me, it is very confusing and I keep mixing them up on a regular basis. Most people are. Departures to the north. And at the moment it is parallel departures taking place. We're standing at the westmost of the 3 runways. The main runway. But the center runway is also being used secondarily if the outbound traffic is increasing. This is the money shot. We're looking head first to an Embraer 175 that is going to precede the A330 that is moving to the runway threshold in the meantime. And even seasoned veterans such as Yorkshire get it mixed up on a regular basis as well. This is KLM flight 935. It is an Embraer 175 going to Dublin, Ireland. This is a 6-year-old airplane that had its first flight in September 2016. Hey there, Michael Nobis. Yo, hi. Cafe Spotter, good day. Now, if you guys just tuned in, you missed some interesting stuff. Did you guys miss some interesting stuff if you just tuned in? Within the time span of 10 minutes, earlier this morning we had 3 aborted takeoffs. At some point we had 2 airplanes with their rear end facing us, obstructing 2 of the exits because they both had to vacate the runway to make room for outbound traffic behind it. I'm going to make a separate video of this all so that you guys can watch it again or see it for the first time if you missed it, so you don't have to look back. I'm going to timestamp the things as well that were noteworthy, but I'm going to make a separate video because this is a highlight of 10 minutes. I think it deserves its own dedicated video. We also saw the departure of one of our viewers who was chatting with us live while being in the airplane, and we could see him sitting next to the window with the torch of his phone illuminated. Beautiful to see. Going to Manchester on an EasyJet Airbus. So this is Delta Airlines flight 49 going out to New York JFK. It is an A330-900 Neo, 4 years old, first flight May 2019. And in the meantime, a Turkish triple has just taken to the skies from runway center. Okay. No issues with the departure. How about the landing gear? Okay, also retracting, so they don't seem to be having any heating issues. Have to hurry up. Well, no. Only sounded like it was going, but it was just turning onto the runway threshold. Of course, the wake turbulence of the preceding airplane first has to dissipate. This is KLM flight 1475, Embraer 190, going to Glasgow. 14-year-old airplane. First flight July 2009. Hey, and there she is. Surinam Airlines. That other quad that we don't get to see every day. Think this is more interesting to look at. I'm going to forgo the departure and just await the arrival of the Surinam Airways A343 going to Paramaribo. A recent flight, or at least a flight that recently began with flying with A340s again. Surinam Airways did operate an A340 earlier, for a while they haven't. Now they're back with another, and it's in a new livery. It's nice to see you guys already had a sneak peek at it. It will be visible more properly when it makes the left-hand turn. Okay, and it looks like this Embraer is going to overtake and will be taking off right in front of us. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Now, if you look on flight radar, the Embraer is still behind the A340. I'm guessing they are going to put the pedal to the metal, and in a straight line we'll be coming to this way, to this entrance to the runway to take off in front of the A340. Save them from waiting for the wake turbulence. Well, Marissa, just in time then. If you haven't seen the departure up close, then your timing is excellent, because that is exactly what we are going to see. Although I'm already seeing the Embraer 175 has in the meantime overtaken the A340, so that is going to take off first from the entrance over here. So I'm going to do a little back and forth. Also love the sunglasses look on that A340. It looks tough, it looks cool. Still a very slow airplane to take to the sky, a very slow climber, relatively underpowered. So even though the sunglasses make it look cool, it is still a sluggish beast struggling to get altitude, to gain altitude. Also a very nice detail, if you look at the wing tips, the winglets, you can see the Suriname flag. Nice touch, putting the flag over there. Now, if you're going to see it take off and take to the sky, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that we can also see it relatively to the ground, and then you can see the slow ascent that this underpowered airplane is going to make. Unless it is completely empty, then it might take a regular climb probably, but I'm expecting it not to do that. Oi, dickhead! Thank you so much for that super chat. Got to take off when the A340 does. Hope you can stick around until it has taken off and leave after that. Otherwise it would be very unfortunate timing. Why are the engines blue though, Marissa is asking. I don't know, maybe that is just a nice contrast. I mean, it does look better with blue than if it had been green or something. Or white. Yorkshire says we're gonna need a longer runway. I hope not. Trying to break the habit of poor timing. Well, excellent. Do stick around until the airplane goes airborne, if it ever reaches that point. We're hoping for that. Barbs asks, is it right to call an A340 a prince? I don't know. A sluggish prince. So this is Surinam Airways, flight 993, going to Paramaribo, A340-300. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April 2008. Here we go. It is moving. 10 knots. 12 knots. It's almost like Top Gear. We're running out of runway. Knots, 32 knots, 40 knots. We're getting there. 50 knots. Still accelerating. Okay, rotate. Okay. The Earth has become a bit lighter. The A340 has taken to the skies. A 100 feet. 110 feet. 120 feet. What is slower, the retraction of the landing gear of the A330 and the A340, or the climb rate of the A340? $200 feet, 300 feet and climbing. Exactly, don't crash on the A9 highway. Well, on its way to Surinam, probably reaching cruising altitude when it is near the ocean to cross the Atlantic. Okay, so that was the A340 from Surinam Airways. Alvin, if you're still around, if you're going, enjoy the weekend. Thanks for joining again. A330 coming this way. We have a little Embraer taking off in the meantime. Embraer 190 KLM, flight 1201 going to Stavanger. Wind seems to be picking up a little bit. I'm under the impression that the direction has changed a little bit. Or maybe it hasn't. No, looking at the windsock in front of the fire station, doesn't seem to have changed. Well, maybe it has a little. Is the smoke blowing towards me or away from me? Probably towards me. With a little bit, yeah, it is. I think wind has changed to the northeast. Next up is a Delta A330. Still taxiing to the runway threshold. Gives me a brief moment to have a look at the weather. So let me go to flight radar. Okay, Surinam Airways has now cleared the country, is flying over the sea at 3,025 feet. Climb rate, vertical speed 1,600 feet per minute. That's the A340 probably climbing at full climb rate. Okay, so the METAR says temperature has increased to 27 degrees and the wind is blowing from the southeast. 130 degrees. Interesting. Wondering how much longer the current runway configuration will stay in place then. That means there's actually a little bit of tailwind for the airplanes taking off from this runway. Copy paste. There you go. So the latest weather is updated in the ticker. 27 degrees Celsius already. Mid 80s Fahrenheit. Delta Airlines Flight 71, another A330-300 going to Atlanta, Georgia. A 19-year-old airplane that had its first flight in August of the year 2003. Dave says that thing climbs like old people drive slow. Absolutely. Oh, people have to go. Marissa, Rolf, thank you all so much for joining and enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. Now, let's see. E2 Embraer 195. There's also a Boeing 767-400 coming this way. On its own, a rare airplane you don't get to see very often. However, it does fly to Amsterdam regularly now for a while, or has been, I should say. Not sure how long it's going to continue to do that, but we've been seeing it quite a few times already. Stranger says in Eindhoven it is 31 degrees already. Holy moly. Well, at least standing out in a field like this over here, the upside under these weather conditions is that there is a bit of wind always. If there hadn't been, it would have been too warm. This is KLM flight 1109 spooling up. E2 Embraer 195 going to Stockholm in Norway. This airplane a year old, first flight March 2022. Awfully quiet, these E2 Embraer 195s. Geared turbofan engines, higher bypass than most other high bypass engines, makes for a quieter takeoff volume. And you also notice that with the A220s that have engines of the similar, well, they're in the same family. They're not exactly the same engines, but they are related. Here's the 767-400 coming this way. Looking at flight radar, more underway. 777-200 to Curaçao. After it, Air Transat, the A321 going back to Canada, also coming this way. Oh, did I? Yeah, Stockholm is in Sweden. My bad, sorry Sophie. Absolutely, that is in Sweden. Had Oslo and Stockholm mixed in my mind. Too bad there isn't a on-the-fly coffee delivery service. Could use some caffeine. You get a bit drowsy over here in the warm air. That's my excuse. Lovely sound as well. Old school sound. 777 to Curaçao in the background. Also coming this way. Looking around me in the water to see if maybe there is some more activity going on. There's only this one coot that I see over here in the foreground in the water. Not seeing any companions. Nor do I see any other birds. I do see a bird controller sneakily hidden over there. Alright, United 767-400 on the move. Stretch. It is United Flight 947 going to Washington. The airplane 22 years old. First flight of this airplane was in September of the year 2000. And it seems that a banana from DHL has just taken off from the center runway. A300. Not sure where it is going to. Undoubtedly one of the cargo hubs. Maybe Leipzig, as it is probably going to the east. Otherwise it would have taken off from this runway. So this is KLM Flight 733. A 777-200 going to Curaçao, Willemstad. A 777-200 ER. 18-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in January 2005. Notva asks what happened with the Delta that was standing still this morning. It took off eventually and successfully after having been parked on that exit for a while. The engines restarted, it started taxiing back to the threshold, and it did take off successfully. GE90s. The magnum opus of General Electric, if you ask me. And in the meantime, a batch of airplanes is coming this way on the right of me. Let me show you guys. Let's zoom in a little bit and have a look. Sordo WRC TV says good afternoon from Seville in Spain. Good afternoon to you too. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and welcome to the show. First airplane is Air Transat A321neo. We'll be flying back to Canada, to Toronto. Transatlantic flight in a narrow body. Here we have a KLM Embraer 190. Or at least it is supposed to be KLM according to the call sign, but this looks like German Airways. Also going to the runway threshold. 2 out of 3, the third one, E2 Embraer 195, going to Edinburgh. And it looks like there's an A330 from KLM to Bombay, taking off from center. There it is. This was Air Transat A321neo. Flight 377 going back to Toronto, Canada. An A320neo that is brand new. Really brand new, as in first flight was in June of this year, so brand spanking new. Now this is German Airways flying for KLM flight 1333 going to Aalborg, Embraer 190, 15 years old, first flight January 2008. A non-live Seafer chocolaterie livery, being more a rarity these days, at least in my live streams, than the chocolate cake livery is, which we see so often and have been so seen it so often. The E2 Embraer 195 ready for departure, but not before saying a very, very big thank you to Dave Smith for once again a very generous super chat, saying great stream as always, my friend. Off to work for me. Hope everyone has a great and safe weekend. Thank you so much, Dave. And I couldn't agree more. Hope everybody stays safe. Hope everybody enjoys. Thank you so much for that, my friend. A really, really generous gift. I'm really appreciative. Thank you so much. This E2 Embraer 195 from KLM taking off to Edinburgh. KLM flight 1281. A 2-year-old airplane. First flight March 2021. And has taken to the sky successfully. Also no landing gear issues, nothing that needs cooling. We do have some activity over there. A pair of coots sitting on their stone peninsula, as it seems. Departures from center still taking place. They have kept it open for quite a while now. I think it has to do with the fact that the school holidays, the summer holidays have begun over here for the middle of the Netherlands. So a big exodus of holiday goers is expected today, which is why I'm thinking a lot of traffic has been split between the two. Normally speaking, when they do open a second runway for departures, it usually is for the duration of an hour to 1.5 hours. It has been open now for much longer than that. I don't know for how much already, but definitely longer than normal. I think it has to do with the exodus now taking place of holiday goers that want to fly to their destination for a well-earned vacation. So this was KLM flight 959, Embraer 175 going to Newcastle. This airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in April 2018. Next up is going to be a Dreamliner. Nicely moving headfirst towards us. Although I am expecting it to take a left-hand turn, go to the runway threshold in a minute, but you never know. KLM flight 611, 7879 Dreamliner going to Chicago O'Hare. 5-year-old airplane, first flight August 2017. Is it moving or is it standing still? It seems to be standing still from what I'm seeing. Don't tell me we have the 4th aborted takeoff. I'll be making videos and editing stuff until the evening today. Oh no. It is standing still, isn't it? And thank you for your kind words. SORDOWRC That is a tongue breaker. Yeah, and it also looks like it stops if it stopped if you just look at what's going on the footage. So are we now seeing the 4th aborted takeoff? My word. Indeed, Jean-Yves, the plane is looking at me like a pervert. I was thinking about maybe taking a pee, but I feel like I'm being watched. Nah, something is up. It's the warm temperature. So glad that I checked the oil of my car this morning. It was really low, so I made a pit stop first to get me some oil and topped up my oil reservoir before I got stuck with a broken down car on my way back or on my way to the Polderbaan. But it seems that the airplanes also needed to do some oil checks and additional pre-warm weather measures, because this seems like the 4th airplane having technical issues. Not sure if we can call it an aborted takeoff when it is just standing still. Thank you, MidKS, for your kind words. I am doing my best. Stranger asks, where do you live? I live in a town called Lisse, which is, if you Google Keukenhof, that is the village next to it. Jets for Fun says, hello from Chicago, great job as usual. Thank you so much for letting me know, Jets for Fun. Glad you're enjoying the show. Doing my best. Now in the background, more traffic is coming up. At least the Dreamliner is standing still at a point where they can also pass by on the left-hand side. So there's no blockage for traffic. But it is still standing still. I was thinking it, you're saying it, Jean-Yves. It must be a French pilot being on strike. National hobby number 1 in France, striking. Well, Dreamliners galore, but will they all be leaving the ground? Time will tell. For the leftmost 2, it looks promising. The right one, I'm not too sure about. Aborted takeoff number 4, it seems like. I'm not listening to ATC Douwe, so I have to rely on what people that do listen to ATC can tell us. If anybody has picked something up, of course, do let us know. K2 also passing by. Let me just do a quick double check of the runway usage. Okay, 4 runways in use now. 2 for landing, 2 for departures. Well, it will be bloody hellish if the airco is malfunctioning. So that is definitely, literally, and figuratively true. Right, so not sure what is going on there. If anybody catches something on ATC, do let us know. Right now, lining up is KLM Flight 635, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner to Las Vegas. 1-year-old airplane, first flight June 2022, new AF. I'm hoping it is still functioning properly after having been in service for such a short time. Okay, gear is going up, so that seems to be a regular departure. TUI Dreamliner already lined up, ready to go. Going to Curaçao, flight 351. It is a Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, 9 years old, first flight May 2014. And it is pulling up. Alright, also a takeoff. It seems to have been effortlessly. Gear is retracting, so no heating issues for this one. On its way to Curaçao. Now in the meantime, the Dreamliner has continued. It is no longer here. It is in fact taxiing over here. So, not an aborted takeoff. Just an additional check, maybe. Attendant, do you serve ice cream? Yes, we are a creamliner. Well, with weather like this, that is definitely appealing. So, after a little delay, here it is still. KLM flight 611, Boeing 7879 Dreamliner going to Chicago O'Hare. A 7879 Dreamliner, 5 years old, first flight August 2017. Alright, let's turn around the camera. 777 time. KLM flight 677, 777-200 going to Calgary. It is a 200 ER, 16 years old, first flight April 2007. Next up, Embraer 190 going to Manchester, flight 1075. 9-year-old airplane. First flight October 2013. Yeah, a boot. Don't know what the fuss is all about. Right, KLM. Embraer on its way. Right of me, the first of a couple of heavies is approaching. Or is it? WTF is going on here? This too looks like it is standing still. Why is that, folks? What is going on today? These airplanes are all holding short or aborting their takeoffs. Thank you, Richard, for your kind words. It is exactly what I strive to do. Get the most stable footage I can. So I'm glad you're noticing. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, another airplane. Indeed, is there something in the fuel today? What is going on? Another airplane standing still, as you do on a tropical day. Interesting, this, interesting. So, a 777 from China Eastern, outbound to Shanghai. It is standing still here. Not sure why. Frank has to go. Thanks for joining, Frank. Enjoy the rest of your day and then enjoy the rest of your weekend. Another airplane that has to be overtaken, obstructing the way. It is an interesting day. Delta A330 coming through. Let me show you how it's done, mate. In the meantime, temperatures have increased. It's 27 degrees Celsius already. We're approaching the 30 or the 90 Fahrenheit. It is getting rather warm here. There's also a 777 from Air Canada coming this way in the background. And there's always going to be more traffic, but I think regardless of what this 777 is going to do, that I am going to call it a day after the departure of this A330 and that triple in the background. Also running low on water. I have already consumed 1.5 liters plus a half liter of coffee. The leftover chili con carne did not go well. There's this guy that has a YouTube channel. What's it called again? Chubby Emu. I think it's a doctor, and he always makes videos like a guy ate a taco from a truck stop. This is what happened to his organs. I feel the title of a new video coming up. This airplane pilot ate leftover chili. This is what happened to his spleen. Anyway, Delta Airlines Flight 163 A330-300 going to Minneapolis. 16 years old, first flight July 2007. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. A pilot ate leftover chili con carne. This is what happened to his takeoff. Oh yeah, Salt Bay, that Turkish cook that sprinkles the salt in his trademark manner. Apparently he has a restaurant in Istanbul that is mightily expensive. Not sure if the food is alright, if it's worth the money, but apparently fully well, Jean-Yves, as you may or may not know, I'm a vegetarian, so that is something I'm not going to try, but I think I can imagine what might happen to your intestinals. Okay, Air Canada, flight 809. 777-300 ER, 14 years old, first flight June 2009. It will be flying to Toronto if all goes well. And in the meantime we still have what appears to be a 777 hindered by technical difficulties. The engines are running. So it's not as bad as with the A330 where they quite quickly already turned off the engines. That must be it, Liwa. It's your mother-in-law. Haven't seen her in the sky though. But you can almost feel her presence. Well folks, for me this is going to be the last airplane of the day, Air Canada. Unless that triple that is now still standing still goes on the move this way. really a loud one. So, don't know yet if I'm going to go out tomorrow. Don't know what the weather is going to be like. Also don't know how long I'm going to be busy with editing all the stuff. The other day it got late as well. Even though you're only out for 4 hours or so, this takes up a lot of time with all the things you have to do afterwards and to prepare. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go out tomorrow. Time will tell. For now, this is going to be it, unless we see movement from the triple. But that still looks to be very much stationary from what I can tell. So I am going to wrap it up, folks. Thank you all so much for joining me here today on a very interesting morning and early afternoon. Thanks to all the people who were so kind to donate super chats, memberships, super stickers, super likes, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it, and without your support this channel wouldn't be anything, so thank you all again so much. Hope you guys liked the show. If you're new to the channel and you like what you saw, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Make sure to turn on notifications then, so that whenever I go live you get notified, and if you have the time for it and are feeling like it, can join us for more live streaming action over here at the ever-bustling Schiphol airport. For now, I'm going to call it a day and cool off back at home. Thank you all so much. Take care and see you guys soon. Bye for now.